everybody. Today I'm going to do an unboxing and I'm going to use this opportunity to show off my new playmat which I got for the Apocrypha the Apocrypha adventure card game. I got it from Kevin the Lich from level 9. He made the design and he was so kind as to mail me his design, and I had it turned into a playmat by a company in Germany that makes them if you have your own design. So I'm really looking forward to this, but today I'm going to do an unboxing for Pathfinder the adventure card game, the kind of second edition. Some say it's not really a second edition, the new version, shall we say. So this is a little bit different than the other ones in many ways. So this is one of the old ones. It's the Pathfinder adventure card game Wrath of the Righteous, which I absolutely hated. And it came in a box like this, very big, and then you would buy additional cards that came in adventure packs like these. And basically the cards were, I guess, serviceable, but that's the only thing I can say about them. The quality is poor and the artwork was uninspiring. It wasn't ugly, but it was kind of uninspiring when you compare it to, for example, The Lord of the Rings or Middle-earth LCG, or, of course, something else by Mike Selinka, which I've been playing a lot recently, the Apocrypha adventure card game, where the artwork is evocative, top-notch, and I really love it. So I bought the Wrath of the Righteous and I hated it, and then I backed Apocrypha the adventure card game, although I knew that the mechanics were kind of similar. Interestingly enough, I love Apocrypha, and I have decided to give Wrath of the Righteous a second chance, and I have been playing it. I hate it a lot less than I used to, but I also now know why I don't like it as much as I love the Apocrypha adventure card game, because I feel that the interaction between the characters, and maybe it's because of the characters that I've got, but I looked through all of them, and none of them had a lot of interaction going, I felt, with the other one. You know, if you've got a group of 3, depending on who you play, you have something like, okay, well, for another character at your location. But this whole thing that they do so well in Apocrypha, where you have the different virtues and you can do the mutation thing, and then you help each other out. It feels, when I use Apocrypha and when I have a group of 3 even, which is a lot of characters for one person to play, it feels like they're a group and they're working together. I'm not getting that much of a feeling of working together in the PACG, but I decided to go for the second version anyway. So this could be a total money pit, and I might curse myself, but I'm now replaying Wrath of the Righteous. I keep saying Wrath of Ashardalon, or at least in my head, and it kind of gives me hope that I will enjoy this game. Okay, so if I can get this open, I may be able to do an unboxing. It's a good thing I've got really good teeth. Okay, so this is the core set, and in this case they have made a change. In the past you would get the core set of an adventure path, and then you would get up the 6 packs that go with it. Here they've got a core set, which is the same for everyone, so it's more like the Lord of the Rings LCG, where you have a core set and then you have the deluxe editions, which then have adventure parts. So this is the core set, and this is the final artwork. There is also a picture on Board Game Geek where it looks slightly different and the dragon is different, but this is the final version. So it comes with a quick guide. Read me first. Okay, so obviously here you've got deck lists, which helps because each character starts with a certain type of card and a certain number of these cards. So Sione's deck has 1 quarterstaff, 1 deflect, 1 force missile, so she's got spells, she's got a weapon. Oh, that's different, because in the old game, the one in Wrath of the Righteous, Sione doesn't have weapons. Then we've got the core set rulebook. Apparently the rules are appalling, but I think this is basically how they write rules. They just can't do it. The one for the Wrath of the Righteous are terrible, and Apocrypha, the adventure card game, have a terrible rule set. Yeah. I like the artwork, although I don't like the Pathfinder artwork in general. I hate the artwork for the RPG. This is the storybook, so this comes with a story now. So they've got a story now. It basically tells you the story that you will be playing. Having said this, it's not a story that you play because you have different locations. They are filled with random cards. Unlike, for example, the Lord of the Rings, where you have themed cards that go into your location deck. These are random, and then you just try and get them. Now, lots of negative things have been said about the tokens. They are cheap, they look cheap, yeah, whatever. They've now got standees, which I quite like. You also get polyhedral dice, so you've got 5 of them, a d12, a d8, a d4, a d10 and a d6. These are the standees for the cards. These are the bases for the standees. Here you've got the cards, and they've made a change. Oh god. Yeah. Okay, so you need to store them standing up like this. That's terrible. Yeah. They should be horizontal. Okay, because I can tell you what happens when you store them upright like this. And as you can see, it's already too small in the middle. When you then put stuff on top, for example, your rule books, the cards will bend. This is what happened to my other version, the Pathfinder Adventure card game, Wrath of the Righteous, suffers from bent cards, which is terrible. Let's see if the quality of the cards is any better, because the quality of the Wrath set is terrible. They're very thin, flimsy. They should have stored them like horizontally as you would normally do. I mean, that's a stupid idea. I don't know who came up with that lame idea, but hey. Okay. The cards feel different, I want to say, and they kind of look different. Yeah. And people have said negative things about the writing, and I can see why. Well, I mean, white writing is never a good thing. And I'm not wearing my reading glasses, but I can see what they mean by hating the font. It is kind of weird when you compare the two. This one is a lot easier to read. I can read this one without my reading glasses. The other one is kind of too small. Yeah. A lot of stuff has been said about the actual artwork and the layout of the cards, and I have to say, I like what I see. I like that the background is nice. Some say they would have wanted a bigger picture. Possibly, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I would probably have said, put the heavy armor up here and then make this wider, and then, you know, I see why people are criticizing the cards, but they are what they are. Okay, so let's take a look at those cards. So here we've got, I'm just going to zoom in a little. Showcasing. If you've got it, show it. So here we've got the played card. So these are now items of different levels. So you've got or cards of different levels. So you start out with level 0 cards, and I would assume that these are the ones that you get first when you start out, and they are like the alpha cards in Apocrypha, the adventure card game, or the basic cards in Wrath, and you then just get more, like, you know, so okay, now that's out of focus, isn't it? Here we are. Is it going out of focus? Okay. Okay, that's interesting. It's to do with the mat. It finds it difficult to focus on the map. That's fine. It's interesting though. Okay, so here we've got the cards. Then we've got story banes. So monsters, accursed devil. They are Okay, story banes are different from monsters. So they might be something like henchmen from the other game. And then we've got the accursed priest. So these are monsters, level 1. Barriers. I hate barriers. I actually removed the barriers from the game in the earlier version because it was just impossible to win against them with some of the characters, because you know, if you don't have dexterity or if you don't have acrobatics, you just can't make it, and I found that terribly annoying. And then you've got more items, weapons, spells of different levels, armor, allies, clockwork servant. I don't understand why they have to go steampunk. That's stupid. Blessings. Yeah, I can see why people don't like the writing on them. They are really badly, they're difficult to read. Okay, so keep going. Oh, open me first. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, I opened the other cards. Oh dear. But that's fine. We will just pretend it never happened, shall we? Yeah, they came like this. Yeah, so that's fine. We'll just pretend that never happened. Yeah. Okay, you'll use the cards in this pack to play through an introductory scenario. See the quick start guide for instructions. That's fine. So here you've got your character decks. Now this is Amiri, character 0. So she's got all of the... I need to... Yeah, it's very sunny at the moment, and this is actually saying something. So this is like you would find it in the other games as well. She's got different abilities: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma are her stats, her basic stats. And she has some derivative stats. So she's a melee fight. She gets a d12 and a melee strength +2. Constitution d8 and wisdom d6, survival wisdom +2. Then we've got Linny. She's kind of like a druid person, so her big ones are, and that's interesting, she doesn't get a d10, d12 for anything, so I would never play her, and this is something where I find it a bit weird that she's kind of imbalanced. So Amiri gets a d12 in strength, so if she does a melee check, she can get 14. Linny can't. She could get 13 max, which would be a d10 +3 for survival wisdom. So since she is going to be a druid, so she's going to use divine spells, she will always be at a disadvantage. Then we've got Sejan or Sejan. He doesn't get a d12 either. He only gets d8s, that's the highest. He doesn't even get a d10. Then we've got Sione, and she gets a d12. So she is a spellcaster. Is it because they're all human? No, he's human too, but he doesn't get a d12. So we've got 4 characters that we could choose. So I would definitely go with, let's see what Sione can do. For your combat check, you may discard a card or recharge a spell to use arcane plus d24 plus the card's level and add the attack, force, and magic traits. This counts as playing an arcane spell. Oh, she can discard any card. That's good, because in Wrath, Sione can only use her arcane if she discards a spell. On your check to recharge an arcane spell, you automatically succeed. That's fine. So she can always recharge her spells. You may instead shuffle it into your deck. So that's brilliant. Let's look at her friend Amiri. I think I'm going to run these two characters. She is proficient with weapons and armor. Her hand size is 4. On your strength check or your check against a monster, you may bury a card from your hand to add your fortitude skill. Now that's super because that's another d8 plus 1. And it's a check against a monster, so it can be a combat check too. Closing your location does not prevent you from exploring. That's super. At the end of your turn you may move and any local characters may move with you. So she's like our 10%er, our Gabriela Vargas. And let's see what else we've got. We've got Linny. She is divine. For your combat check, you may bury a card or recharge an animal ally to use survival plus 1d4. Oh, that's cool. So she gets plus the card's level and add the animal and melee traits. When you add or when you would recharge an animal ally for its power, you may shuffle it into your deck instead. Now the difference is recharging is putting it at the very bottom, whereas if you shuffle it in, it may actually come up sooner. On a local check that invokes the animal trait, add 1d4. So this would be something that you would have to tick later. And Sejan, interestingly enough, talk about Bechtel-Wallace test. We have 4 heroes, 3 of whom are women. Well done. Well, I'm not saying that it should always be more women than men, but it's interesting, again, the level of representation. And Sejan is a human monk. His hand size is 5 or 6. For your combat check, you may recharge a card to use acrobatics or melee plus 1d6. Acrobatics is 1d8 plus 2. Melee is 1d8 plus 1. Plus the card's level and add the bludgeoning and melee traits. On your combat or acrobatics check, you may freely play 1 blessing or 2 blessings. When you play a blessing on your check, you may recharge it instead of discarding it. That's a very powerful ability. So I take back the fact that he doesn't have any d12s, doesn't make him a bad character. So let's just check. Do they have a glossary? Please let them. Yes, they do. What does freely mean? Not counting toward the usual limit of playing 1 of each type of boon on a check or step or while suffering damage. That's nice. So he can play. When you suffer combat damage, reduce it by 1. Okay, these are all very interesting characters. So I would probably run Amiri and Sioni. So here we've got the cards that we're going to use, and I'm going to play the introductory scenario this week. I am going to use this this particular playmat though, because it actually works really well with this game as well, because you've got your location deck. It's not called Nexus, but it's still a location deck. And this is your location, this is your location deck, this is where you put your played cards. Mutations, we don't have those. But that's where you could put the omen of the hour. Sorry, not the omen, the blessing. So I'm really looking forward to this. But wait, there's more. Because I decided to, I finished this year's module, which was Introduction to Object-Oriented Programming in Java with distinction. So I decided to treat myself. Well, I have, if you sometimes have to look out for yourself, because if you don't look out for yourself, who will? So I got myself the expansion, because there is an expansion out already, and it's called The Curse of the Crimson Throne. Now, I believe that there's an adventure path for the RPG that's called Curse of the Crimson Throne. So we're just going to open it. It's just going to be cards, I assume. And it's called The King is Dead, Long Live the Queen. And of course you need the base game for this. So this is now really like Lord of the Rings LCG. You've got 4 more heroes. You've got Harkon, Kes, Quinn, and Varian. So these are now 3 males and 1 female. This is the storybook, so it again tells you the story. Oh, look, Jaws. Then we've got the cards. And again, the idea is that you actually take the cards out of this box and you put them into the main one and you just stand them up. But it's weird that they don't have dividers, so they just expect you to shuffle them in, I guess. I'm not going to open these because I really don't want to. I mean, I don't usually look at the cards. I'm not going to sleeve those. I've just made a decision. I'm not going to sleeve this game. But that's what you get in this box. So it's got 5, and I think it says somewhere it's 500 cards or something. 550 cards. In a base game, you've got 400 and something cards. So once you've got all of them, you will have around 900 plus cards. Almost 1,000 cards, I guess. And some of the artwork is a bit odd, though. Look at this. This is a blessing, and it's called The Theatre. I'm not sure. I am absolutely not sure. And this one's got a combat check of 22 to defeat. Oh my god. Verik van Kaskerken. That's an interesting name. It's a powerful name. I like that name, but he's also a villain. Okay, so this is the unboxing. Watch this space for a playthrough. So I will do a blind playthrough, which means that I will actually really do what they say. Just look at the quick start game and build the decks according to the quick start guide using the open this first or open these cards first thing. And I will take you through it and we can make the mistakes together and we can have a big laugh at how stupid I am. Or maybe not, and how badly I play and how little strategy I apply, and hopefully enjoy this game. I am looking forward to it, and I hope you will join me, and I wish you all a pleasant rest of the day. Talk to you soon. Bye.